It's the Daily Drama Podcast with Stephen Bradford, presented by dailydrama.com, your one-stop shop for all your soap needs, and a lot of Stephen Bradford. But today, enough about Stephen Bradford. We have the wonderful, talented, beautiful Kristen Vaganos. You know her as Molly. Hi, Kristen.
Hi, guys. Thanks for having me.
We're so delighted that you're here because, we've talked a few times. I'm excited to get to know you.
Oh, yeah. We're going to get to know each other right here.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah. She mentioned, Brad, that you said something to her about the podcast, and I saw her. When we're done with our wardrobe, we take it back to the wardrobe racks in the hallway there, right outside wardrobe. So I'm like, hey, can you do our podcast?
Well, because you are really intimidating, Kristen. So I can picture Steve just kind of like,
hey,
walking gingerly.
You know, it's funny. And she was like, I think, Kristen, you said, weren't you on Young and the Restless or something? And
Out of This World.
And then I started explaining all the shows I've been on. And she's like, okay, great. You're 100. I'm not doing your podcast.
Yeah. You're legit. This is a real thing.
No, you're 100 years old. I'm not doing anything. So Kristen, tell us your story. Where are you from originally?
Yeah, I'm from Philadelphia. My family is a bunch of crazy Greek people that all came here all my grandparents were born there.
Wow. Awesome.
My parents and my sister and I were born in Philly. And I was there for childhood. I went to NYU. And then I came to Los Angeles.
So did Bradford.
So did I.
Really? Did you go for acting?
Yeah, I was at now defunct Cap 21.
Oh, okay. Oh, so we got a singer?
Yeah, I was musical theater. Were you at Tisch or were you at School of Ed?
Yeah, I was in Tisch. I was in Strasbourg.
Oh, fantastic. So what is
all my tears are coming.
I was going to say, what are your sad childhood memories that you'd like to share with us?
I know. I cried in my interview and I literally left and was like, I know where I will be going. Like, I know where they're going to place me. It's so funny how it's like Hogwarts with the sorting hat. They're like, and use this method. It's so fun.
Right. For people that we've talked about it on this pod before, but NYU is broken up. The drama program is a studio system. So they farm out their drama students to studios within New York City. Some of them there's a couple of them based within NYU, yes. And then some that are other businesses that contract in NYU students. And they kind of, at your audition, they kind of decide which technique would be the best for you.
Is that what they did for you, Brad?
Yeah, but when you're going for musical theater, there's only one place.
Gotcha.
So you either get in there or they.
Okay, sorry. So then the options would have been for Kristen, what, like improv? It could have been
Stella Adler, if that's still there. Is Stella Adler still there?
Stella Adler, Meisner.
Oh wow! So they're just going straight techniques.
Atlantic Theater Company, which is
there's Atlantic. There's NYU has something called the Experimental Theater Wing. ETW is another one of them.
Wow.
And there's one called Playwrights Horizon, which I think is more for people who they see as like directors too, and whatever. And
so then are you kind of stuck there for the 4 years in that program?
No,
you can transfer
years and then you can switch.
Right on.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. It's they still called it primary studio and then secondary. Did they do that? Yeah. So they kind of say, hey, we think we know best for you. Give it 2 years. And then some studios have a 4-year program. Some don't actually. So
I ended up graduating a year early. I only did 3 years. I know.
Yeah.
But it was cool because my studio did have like a whole advanced track. And like in the final semester, there was this program you could audition for that if you got in, like a playwright came in and wrote a play specifically for these people. And so if anyone's a theater person, like Lucy Thurber was our playwright, who's amazing. So I've originated a role in one of her plays, which was cool.
It's
so
really cool.
Yeah. I'm a big theater nerd. So that stuff's fun for me.
Totally.
And I'm doing a play in a month.
Are you where?
Very excited about Rogue Machine. You know that theater company?
Oh, that's awesome. Yeah. Good for you. I want to get into I want to get through some of your bio stuff, but then I want to talk about living in Los Angeles and being on a soap and what it seems like you're doing versus stuff that I wish I had done when I started. Anyway.
Cool. Okay.
Yeah. But like, all right. So NYU treated you well.
Yeah, we're mostly caught up. So then I did 3 years. I wish I'd stayed longer just because I was so in love with New York when I left. I was really still invested in that. I wasn't burnt out at all. But I came here for some opportunities at the time, and life's been good to me here. I really can't complain. So it's been 7 years in LA now. And I
What
started on the show in September.
what brought you to LA though? Like if
So after my second year of college, there's this company called like One on One, if you guys know it, but they do like workshops and whatever. So they have this thing called the LA trip where you audition, and if you get in, they take like 10 or so New York actors and they bring them here and they put you in this hotel for a week and you do these workshops and basically presentations with agents, casting directors, managers.
Wow.
And so I'd never been to LA, and I was just kind of like wide eyed and was like, I could see myself ending up there one day. I should try it. And then I got in and was like, okay, let's just go see. And I had interest from some agents, but I had 2 years left in New York and they were kind of like, what are we going to do with that? So it was just like, okay, I talked to my advisor and realized I could graduate in just one more year. And I did it. And I just came out here, and I've always been somebody that's like just moving so fast and like hustling and just want to be sure I did everything. I tried everything because it's so hard to do what we do for a living that like
yeah.
I'm like neurotic about it. So it like tracks for me, but in a way I would like liked to have just enjoyed life and its pace a little bit more. But as I said, things are good. So that was kind of what happened. I just like came here to try it out.
And you had reps lined up because of that.
Yeah, I had reps signed up, but I was like, oh my God, this is the whole point. It's never going to happen again. I can't let this pass me by. And like, I was with those reps for like a year, and I've had like
Sure.
18 reps since then. You know what I mean? Like
Sure.
now I know, well, that wasn't the only way, but at the time, I mean, I don't have any uncles teaching me this business. I don't have any,
Sure.
I mean, actually, you actually got in a great way, like for someone who
Yeah.
just was coming into acting. Not that NYU theater is just coming into acting, but the process isn't how it used to be, where I was discovered or whatever in a showcase, kind of like that, where agents and casting directors come, and it's not so. I don't think it's as prevalent nowadays as it used to be. And for NYU to have something like that program's awesome. Like,
It was that run through NYU, the one-on-one thing?
No, it's a separate business.
Okay, gotcha. Because I did my senior year, I did the showcase, the Tisch showcase. I'm not sure if that still exists. And there was a musical night and a non-musical night, and I did the musical night, and that's how I found my first reps. Right?
Yeah, I mean that is kind of how it goes. So,
yeah.
So then you get to LA and you're just kind of hit the ground running from auditions. You start commercials. You start.
Yep. Yeah, I mean, in college, I had done some short films, some commercials. I'd started sort of like, I was like the one kid, like taking the subway to an audition on my lunch break, just like seeing what was out there. So
yeah,
I did some stuff. I had like, I mean, a shitty reel, but I had a reel when I got out here, and I did some more stuff. And it was cool because I moved out here with one friend who's now like one of my dearest, like sibling energy. And we really just like learned LA together. We learned this industry together, and we got here first. So by the time everyone else got here, we were like, no, this isn't what you do. This is how you audition. This is where you do, so we figured it out the hard way, but yeah, just hit the ground running. And then did a lot of like TV movies, commercials, feature films, indie stuff. And then now I'm here. Then COVID and the strikes.
Right.
Then I'm here.
Yeah. So, but you I mean, the community that you have, like, you seem to have a creative community. I've been on your Instagram, and you seem to really have a good one.
Yeah.
And I mean, obviously you create with your husband as well, which is cool, right? That's your husband? No?
I'm married.
Oh, you're not?
Who are you referring to?
Oh, I guess you just do all these videos with a guy and you're like, oh, we're actors. We do this.
Oh, that's funny.
I just, a quick perusal of your Instagram, and it's always the same guy. So I just assume it was your partner or something.
No.
And then I thought I saw a wedding something or other. Maybe it was a gag.
No. You're actually correct about that. But so that's these two guys who are friends of mine that are like a comedy duo. Oh. And I do a lot of their videos with them. And there's this one like recurring bit that they've done where they've just sort of like blown it up bigger and bigger, and it's like awkward interactions at a water cooler.
Oh
Like,
yeah, like dating my wife.
yeah,
Like
so that yeah, so we kind of blew it out, and it was like, what if this happened between you and your own wife? And it's like still awkward.
ah,
That's very funny. So that is valid. Valid.
okay. All right. Well, all right. So yeah, a quick perusal. I should have done more research. My
No,
bad.
that is false advertising on my end. Like that's
Okay.
there for you to believe.
But also that illustrates more. You have a creative community, and so like I think that's a good, coming into a show like ours, which is I booked this within like a year of me being in LA.
Wow.
And coming from theater, where like you do workshops, you do in New York,
Yeah.
like you do workshops, you do all these things, and like even if you're doing a show, you're generally and you have a community, and so I got right into this, and I kind of was like just taking every opportunity I could within the structures of us. Like we would do events, we would do creative things, but it was always in the in the corner
Yeah.
of daytime, if you will.
Yeah.
And so then when I left the show, I didn't have a creative community outside of it. And and that's when I was like, man, when I was making good money and young, I should have, just like been at Groundlings every moment I could have been, or UCB,
Yeah.
or starting a theater company, or and I don't regret anything I did, simply because like, Steve and I have done a lot of fun things together over the years, and now we're doing even more fun stuff. But like, I didn't always spend my time totally wisely.
Yeah.
And it sounds like you have a really good foundation.
Yeah, well, there's always like grass is always greener. Like I'm as I said, I'm such a like hustler, and I'm so impatient for so many things that there is a lot. I did spend a lot of time like wanting things to happen before they were and quicker than they were. But I will say, like, I'm I am really grateful for all that time I had where I was really like, I got to make stuff happen or it's not going to happen, because I have actually like multiple different communities of like people from UCB, people from an acting class, people I started making movies with. Like I produce movies too, and I write. So like I just have like a lot of different like I have
Yeah,
my
and
a
please
lot of
don't
different
don't
things.
stop that, please.
No, I really don't want to. I mean, I was
Please don't.
weekend I was shooting a leftover stuff from a feature I just made in Europe, and we had to do stuff over the weekend. And between how heavy this week and last week have been on the show, I was like, I don't want to do that this weekend, but of course I wanted to do it. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like it's
Yeah.
gearing up, you're nervous, and then it's happening. But so there were a lot of days I was like, oh, I wish things were happening quicker. But I've also said too, like in terms of like making it right away, I'm definitely grateful for all the time I had to be like just grounded and like find my people who like I know have my back and I have theirs, and we really know
Sure.
each other, and we've put in this time together. So there's a lot of reasons why, as you said, like I'm happy I didn't fall into one thing right away. Um, because
But
now I'm almost like, oh, I could use like leaning back a little and just having a
totally.
job.
Yeah.
For,
No, we're not that will not be allowed. Don't
okay.
do it.
All right. Never mind.
Well, because here's the
Right,
deal. As you know, and I think your philosophy is correct, you do have to create your own way.
yeah.
You have to create your own opportunities within the construct of what we do, for sure. And we've seen actors and actresses who have made it, and a lot of times it wasn't just getting an audition and a job, it was directing something, writing a short film, being creative that way, a friend doing something, putting you in it, whatever it is.
Yeah.
The more opportunity the better. And especially it's easy to just sit back on a soap, as I've seen for a long time, where they sit there for 4 years, then all of a sudden it's over
Yeah.
and their whole world's upside down.
Yeah.
And if you are as active as you are and proactive, if something were to happen, you'd be like, all right, cool. I have 800 million things to do anyway. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah. That's true. All right. Fine. I won't slow down.
there you go. Yeah. No slowing down. No breaks. No breaks.
Yeah.
So when this opportunity came up, was that like had you set foot in daytime before this, or no?
Nope.
No.
Hadn't set foot, hadn't set an eyeball on it.
Right. Was there any like oh, should I go in for that? Am I like, or was it just like, yes, let's go? Like,
Well, I got the audition during the strikes too. So my first thought was like, am I allowed to do this? Like
oh,
I was
sure.
sort of
Yeah, 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 of
Yeah,
confused.
course.
that whole thing's very confusing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I was like emailing my manager, like, I don't understand. But as soon as I knew it was cool and stuff, I mean, and also because of that timing, it was of course like, sure, it's the only thing to do.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Right.
But I didn't know the context of this role at that point.
Sure.
Am I like allowed to say?
Yeah.
I
Oh,
mean,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. No,
For sure.
one of the most interesting things that happens in daytime more regularly than it does elsewhere is people taking over other established
which is
roles.
crazy to me, still mind-boggling.
Yeah.
Like when you're not familiar with it, and just the fact that people, well, I was going to say people will just accept it. I guess they don't really always, but that
It's
there
a
are.
it's a process.
It
Yeah.
is a process. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
So it wasn't actually until, so I did my audition via a self-tape, and then I came in here and read with Nancy, and a bunch of other girls read with Nancy.
Yeah.
And then I got it. And it wasn't until I got it that I was told
The
that
whole
this was an
story.
existing character
Sure.
and blah, blah, blah. And I wasn't allowed to say anything for about like a month
Mm.
Right.
because
Right. Right.
other people didn't know they weren't coming back. So I was
Right.
like, oh,
Sure.
Yeah,
crazy.
Yeah.
that's a lot to, yeah. How
When
was
did you find after your test though? When did you find out? Did you how soon did you find out you got it?
Maybe like a week or two.
Wow.
That's a long-
They're
that's-
making you wait.
Sheesh.
Maybe close, maybe sooner, maybe it would. But I was, the story of how I got it was fun in you know, with what we were just talking about, because I was actually on set for a short film that I was producing and ADing. And
you go.
so, you know, ADs really can't be stepping off the set.
No.
I'm like in charge of keeping it moving. But I got a call from my manager. I just sort of like figured it was this news. So I was like,
Sure.
just like snuck out and was like, didn't care what was going to happen for 1 minute. Like I just like relinquished control for a second. And then she told me it was good news. So I was like, okay, I gotta go. I'll call you later.
Right.
Awesome.
Yeah.
What was auditioning with Nancy like?
Like so awesome. I
I
love
bet.
Nancy.
I bet
just
she was a
adore her.
great reader in an audition.
She was great. She really was. And
Was it a screen test or just a reading in the office?
it was a reading in Frank's office with a bunch of other producers. And I don't
Gotcha.
remember there being a camera.
Okay, great. So there
Yeah.
wasn't. Yeah. Okay, great.
Come back from lunch. Could you come to the stage and work with?
Oh yeah, that's Kyle. That's Kyle Bell, our stage manager.
Kyle.
Okay, so it was
Kat.
just in the room, and it wasn't an actual screen test. Great.
Yeah,
Gotcha.
I guess it wasn't an actual screen test, but yeah, there were a bunch of us. And then Mark, you know, our lovely casting director, who I
Yes.
met at an event years before this, which is really funny. He and I are like, can't believe we're in each other's orbit again. But we had a really fun like initial meeting.
Yeah.
So he was really sweet when I got it. He was like all excited for me, and like he was like, you really like stood up to Nancy. Like I think we were really impressed. Like you really like went toe to toe with her and like put her in her place and whatever. And it was kind of an antagonistic scene that we were reading.
Yeah.
And it's so fun now to work with her. I just got done like doing a, you know, big emotional scene with her, and it's so fun. Like I really do feel like we had kind of a good vibe right away. We have a good thing.
That's awesome. How long have you been on the show?
I've been on it for like 9 months, maybe.
9 months. Nice.
How is the, you know, as someone that's used to prepping for certain things, how is the transition to prepping for your daily work here? How has that gone for you?
Yeah, it's good. I mean, it's really unlike anything else, which you guys know, but I mean, I'm really lucky. I have a quick memory. I can memorize really quickly. So the page count doesn't stress me out as it does to some other people, maybe as much as
Sure.
it does. But what I find just the hardest to wrap my head around here is that you do so much work, you do so much prep, you dive so deep into these intense circumstances, and you do it once and you let it go.
Is that
Freedom!
good? Do you like that or not?
No, I'm like such a nerd for acting. I want to like do it again. I want to like explore. I
Oh.
want to give you more options. I'm like,
Mm.
that's
Yeah.
it. And now on to the next one that required so much else. It's like,
I know.
crazy to me, but
Yeah,
yeah.
I mean, you're right.
Yeah.
Like, I totally understand your side of it too. I guess there is, especially coming from theater, and like, there's a live element to what
Yeah.
we do, which is, I'd say, in a lot of ways more like exciting
Yeah.
than, but I don't know,
Yeah.
working with the community that you have, you, I imagine you have such a comfort with the people that you work with in your, when you're producing, when you're ADing, when then acting, like,
Yeah.
you guys are, you know, being nerdy about it, and that creative process is felt within an ensemble there, which is different than jobbing in on a primetime guest star, like
Yeah.
that. You know what I mean? That's just like hitting your mark and making sure you
Yeah.
don't mess up.
Yeah.
um
I mean, it's still really fun here because the it was kind of crazy taking over a role, but the pro of it is that I got to come like right into like I stepped right into these shoes that were full, that had history, that had rich relationships, and there's no time to ease in. Like my first day, I was like kiss and Taj, you know what I mean? Like it just like
sure, yeah, yeah,
you
yeah.
jump right in and you fight with your sister and then you're hugging your mom, and it's like this is
Yeah.
a thing that people accept and know already that I don't have time to like ease into. So it is fun in this because it is community. Like it does, I can feel it already. I feel really close to so many people here already, and it is, like you said, different from doing a guest star where you come into a world that is a family and you're just like coffee and cream and then you leave,
Right,
whatever. Like
right.
you
Yeah,
don't feel a part of the thing, but at least here I do feel like a part of the thing, which is
yeah, yeah, yeah. Kate came in a little bit before you, or yeah.
yeah.
So, and she was a recast as well. I
Mhm.
imagine you guys. It seems that you have bonded pretty well. Um, I imagine similar circumstances helped an already fertile ground for
Yeah.
connection, right?
Yeah, it totally did. We connected so quickly. I mean, you guys we don't overlap a ton, but like we call each other sis Chris and sis Kate. Like we're like sisters in real life. It's like something happened with us where we just like immediately connected, and we have a lot of people in common, and I knew her boyfriend before she ever met him. So there's like some weird stuff going on too with that. But yeah, I think it did. I think the fact that we were both recasts and we were both like the new vision for whatever the Davis girls are going to be,
Sure.
but we work together is like if one was old and one was new, it might be like, oh, how does this go? But and like with Nancy, like Nancy and Kate and I were all just in here together before I kicked them out so I could do this. So like
No.
we're all just like close and we like each other, and it really helps like garner a real family feeling on screen, obviously.
Yeah, one of the things we talk about a lot is what's great about daytime in our show is the relationships that you build within the ensemble, within the cast, and how much that informs, like, the work becomes easier because you're not answering a lot of questions in the script anymore, because you're like, I know
Mm-hmm.
how I feel about this person, I know, and that gives you then freedom to find other moments because you're
Yeah.
not hung up on these questions that you haven't figured out yet.
Yeah.
And playing a family like you're playing, those relationships, it makes a big difference. And then it's so I don't know, it's, and the daily grind of it all makes it more I don't know, it makes it more fun and more like you find things within that
Yeah.
comfort.
Yeah. Yeah. When the relationships can kind of mimic what you've got going on screen, it just happens so naturally and comfortably, and you don't have to like ask a ton of permission and figure it out. And yeah, we're
Yeah.
That's
lucky.
awesome.
Great people work here. I mean, it's really good people.
So after you get the call on that set, and when you could finally tell your friends, they're like, "You're doing what?"
Yeah. Yeah, it was
Yeah,
pretty crazy. Because also it's like, I mean, the replacement thing is just impossible for anybody to wrap their head around.
sure.
And then yeah, also just crazy that it was like a full-time thing that just came out of nowhere.
Right.
Amazing.
Those
Yeah.
though.
And,
Yeah.
and were they worried that they were gonna lose you to, or they knew you'd always prioritize time with them too?
Yeah. I'm insane. I do too many things in a day, but I'm like, I can do everything and everyone will be fine and I will not sleep and it will be great. Like I'm
Yeah.
just insane.
That's
Yeah.
Yeah.
awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Your interaction with the audience, how has that gone for you?
It's been fun. I mean, I don't like read a ton or do all that because it just feels like never great things come. But what I do see has been really sweet. I mean, I've done one fan event since being on, and people were so kind to me. I mean, I really was like, it's a lot to ask, for people to accept a new face in a person that they've come to love or know. And
Sure.
so the fact that generally people have been really accepting of me as Molly, and one person said something that actually really stuck with me. Because I was seeing all these people and I was like, yeah, it's a lot, it's big shoes to fill. And one sweet fan was like, girl, like you're wearing your own shoes and they look good
Oh,
on you. And I was like, oh,
oh, that's such a
okay.
beautiful thing to say.
Isn't it? Like that was really sweet. Yeah.
Awesome.
So I mean, I'm similar to Molly in a lot of ways. So it's like sort of been easy to get into her, but I had to watch a bit when I booked it to know what people are expecting and who the character is to them. So
Sure.
there's a
Right.
little bit of like fitting the mold, and then there's a little bit of, yeah, taking it on my own and just letting her be what she is in me.
It's awesome.
Was
Yeah.
was there a jump between what she was doing when they last saw her to now her being a lawyer or like the DA? Like I
So
don't remember the trajectory that Molly was on. I don't remember her. I wouldn't have
yeah,
foreseen that. I
I don't know exactly. I mean, I know that she felt a little younger before, and so I think that it helps now that it's more believable. But I think I didn't go back too far. I think
sure,
by the
yeah.
time I was on, she already had that position.
Oh,
So,
Oh,
okay,
okay.
yeah.
but
There you
there
go.
was, there was Molly one, then there were two quick ones, and then so I don't know like how much how much it came up or how much it was part of the
Right.
plot.
Is she the
Right.
district attorney or is she
ADA assistant.
assistant DA? Okay,
Yeah.
right.
So
Who is
that
the
was, that was in my breakdown of like, here's the explanation of everything
sure?
she's got going on. So it was already at the time I got here.
Who is the actual district attorney?
Scorpio, DA Scorpio.
Oh, right,
I
right.
never,
Robert.
I don't do scenes with this person ever.
I don't do scenes with this person.
Tristan Rogers, the salty
Oh,
Is he
Aussie.
the DA?
I think he is.
Oh,
Yeah.
I
wow. There you
guess.
go.
I truly don't know if
Sweet.
we've ever been on screen together.
That's amazing.
I talk about him all the time, but
That's
Right.
amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, he I saw him on set just the other day
oh,
when John York, the guy that plays Mac, had his
uh-huh.
first scenes back. Tristan was there.
Okay.
Yeah.
So funny how this
So
goes.
yeah, but I know he's not on as much, so I guess the assistant district attorney has to step up in his absence.
My workload is really just
Yeah.
yeah. You should see my desk.
Amazing, amazing. So now you're embroiled in quite a, and I know there's things that you probably can't talk about because they haven't aired
Yeah.
yet, but surrogacy and
Mhm.
sisters and
Mhm.
expectations, and I mean I read the spoilers for Daily Drama, and so I think some
Oh,
things have
you.
aired. I think some things have aired this week. Do you know what's aired and what you can speak to?
Um, what has aired this week? I think I know where we are. I
Some
think so.
was it? I think it was something about you wondering if you wanted, or no, or Christina wondering if she wanted. No,
Yes. I'm nervous that Christina is going to want to keep the baby and
right.
that she's going to, or that she's going to put it in danger because she's a bit unpredictable and volatile and all this stuff
Mm.
with her dad, Sonny.
Sure. Right. Oh, that's right. Because your dad, you're Molly Lansing.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, Rick Lansing.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
it. Rick Lansing. There you go.
I
Yeah.
feel like if there's any character that's ripe for a return, Rick Lansing could be a good one to return.
I mean, that silver-haired fox now, he could come back.
Yeah. Yeah.
Wow.
Wow.
Fun.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
So the guy that played Rick Lansing for years, it was wonderful because he was a very strong actor. He and his brother Sonny had a lot of great scenes. He was the district attorney,
Yes.
Oh,
Yeah.
being pitted
There
against
you
the
go.
mobster.
Yeah.
Yeah.
okay, cool.
So it was a really cool. It was a really cool power dynamic,
Oh, that's
Totally
awesome.
was.
and
Yeah.
he played it in a way that was strong, but had a real like clear insecurity that he was overcome, like he would overcome with strength. It was a really well layered character.
Yeah, the story was always good in the sense that Rick won sometimes. You know,
Mm-hmm.
usually no one wins against Sonny, and his brother
Yeah.
would win. Like there was a for sure threat, and they
That's-
allowed me to beat him up so bad on camera one time. It was amazing.
Oh,
Like
wow. That's
those
awesome.
those days don't happen anymore, but it was awesome. It was like in a
Yeah.
parking garage, and I dragged him across the car, and it was
Cool.
unreal, man.
That's
So
so
hopefully he
fun.
comes back and I can give him another one.
Well, or
Yeah.
since you are a Lansing, I mean, has there been any power struggle yet between, like, have they told, and maybe they have told it, and so this is redundant. Have they told the story of Molly going after Christina's dad? Is that
Yeah, so right now there's also all this business with like I might have to prosecute Sonny and like am I even allowed? Like that would be such a conflict of interest. And
Mm.
Anna Devane is like, I want it to be you if it's going to be someone, and I'm like, it can't possibly be me. But
right?
so that's also a thing too. And there's like stuff I can't participate in with Christina because it's a conflict of interest. So there is a little bit of like that's still at play, I guess, in a
Sure.
sense because he's my uncle, but I'm not blood related to him. So it's
Right.
all, yeah.
So just a word of wisdom. If you see that face, Jason's face outside your window, run.
He comes for everyone at one time or another.
Run. It's not good
Run.
news. It's not good
funny.
That's
news.
awesome.
Amazing.
Oh.
Well, this has been so nice to talk to you. Thank you for making the time for us.
Where can
Uh,
everybody find you on Instagram? Because I know you got a lot of stuff going on.
Yeah, you can find me and my dear, dear husband at
I feel so dumb.
don't. It's
Won't be the
like,
first time. Go
Yeah,
ahead,
yeah, yeah.
Kristen.
It's at Hey Vaganos on all platforms.
Awesome.
Amazing. All right. Well, here's looking forward to hopefully more good storyline and storylines where our characters connect without
That'd be
violence.
fun, except for Through the Window.
Correct. Correct.
True.
Yeah, this was really fun. Thank you guys.
Thank
Awesome.
you so much.
Thank
You're
you,
awesome.
Kristen.
Thanks.